Kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thoughts creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. Kindness in silence creates unity. Therefore, the highest form of wisdom is kindness. So please join me in 10 seconds of silence, please. Many of you don't know me, and I'd like you to know that I love you all, each one and every one of you. And you might think, how's that going to look like? I want you to remember the next time that you look at the sky, and this is our other cosmic home, the Milky Way, 100 billion stars. And like that galaxy, there's another 100 billion galaxies like that. But now, what is different about this time and age is that in every star that you see, there's another planetary system. And that was just discovered last year. Many people have thought about that. But now we have the means to detect Earth-sized planet. Now we have close to 3,500 extrasolar planets, planets orbiting other stars. And we know that 75% of all the stars in the Milky Way are little red stars. And around those little stars, they're more likely super Earths or planets like the Earth. So now we have a catalog of planets like the Earth. So imagine in 1606 when Galileo was grabbing those lenses, and instead of spying on people and being fearful, he's like, let me look at those little sparks over there. And imagine the surprise when he thought that that little bright light actually wasn't a star, but was a planet. And that actually Copernicus was right, that there were some moons orbiting Jupiter, and that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe. With that came the renaissance of humanity. So I think that now, at least in the West, because many other cultures sort of knew that already intuitively. But now, it's very exciting times because we are, what I say, in a new renaissance of humanity. So if you can think about what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is how radical love can liberate the earth. Meaning that the next time that you see this is not any flag. I like to call it also our Smiles flag. Everybody loves it. You know, I'm biking there in East Oakland, and then some black brothers and sisters say, yo, I love your flag. Police officers, they smile. Like Chicano folks, I've been in scientific communities, in elementary school, you name it, everybody loves it. So now we have a catalog of planets like the Earth, so that we can think that it doesn't matter what country, what religion, what sexual orientation, what matters is to be a responsible citizen of the world, so that we can say the Earth is but one country and all living beings, visible and invisible, are citizens. And not only that, we're living unprecedented times here, because you might heard what happened in North Dakota, where soldiers that have fought imperial wars and clergy that have participated in cultural genocide. So you have cultural and physical genocide, and these people have touched their heart, that connect their mind and their minds, and go there and ask for forgiveness to the indigenous people. So one thing is to talk about it, one thing is to read it in books, But when you see that these people were there and they kneel down, and you have the vets, and you have the clergy, and all surrendering to the leadership of Indigenous people, especially Indigenous women. So for a recovering sexist me to see that, that was pretty powerful. So a teacher of us, Joanna Macy, called it, we're living the Great Turning. Transition from industrial growth society to a sustained or regenerative society. And perhaps it's time to have the understanding of science and put it together with the worldview, the indigenous worldview, with the heart. And Gandhi put it very clear, the three H's, the head, the heart, and the hands. That is the secret to happiness. What Sister Sherry was sharing before, how she was overflowing with that gratitude, that she felt that wisdom and she needed to share it. So that's what happened when you align your head, your heart, and your hands. So I want you also to imagine an iceberg. Another friend, Chris Backman, likes to say, this is the Gandhian iceberg, a nonviolence manifesto in the age of the Great Turning. And basically, an iceberg, if you can imagine it, it only comes above the surface, only 10% of that. And the 90% is below. So imagine that what Gandhi did with all this nonviolent civil disobedience that inspired Martin Luther King Jr. and Cesar Chavez and Aung San Suu Kyi and so many others, that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's kind of a byproduct. That's the nonviolent civil disobedience. That's disobeying with great love. But then you have the other part that you can see, that's the constructive program, the alternatives, the independent media, the preventive medicine, restorative justice, the things that inspire people. But you do not see that 90% of all that spiritual work that requires to embody that forgiveness. And so, how are we going to put together, I said, in order to align all that and have activists and spiritual people, well, we need spiritual people to become active and activists to become spiritual. So we have the inner revolution together with the outer revolution to put the total revolution of the human spirit. And let me share a quote from Einstein. Because I came to this part of the planet attracted by the love and the sense of awe and wonder of the universe, and got accepted into UC Berkeley to do a Ph.D. on astrophysics, because I love to look at the stars. But at the same time, when the administration of Brother George Bush decided to say, well, we're going to make the new set of nuclear weapons, I said, wait a minute. I'm not against science. I'm against the unethical applications of science. So it doesn't matter that I'm here in UC Berkeley getting my Ph.D. We have enough Ph.D. We need Ph.Ds or Ph.Bs. So it doesn't matter that I need 1 second, or 1 year to get my PhD. I don't want to receive a title from an irresponsible institution that is putting in risk the survival of our species. So they say, all right, so if you don't want to be here, you have 30 days to leave. That was Homeland Security. Well, that was 9 years ago. So I'm here disobeying with great love one of the most destructive empires in the history of humanity, moment by moment. Well, how? With love. So I'm one of the 12 million undocumented human beings that want a better world, that we don't want to put violence with violence, we want love and generosity. And if we wanted to prevent oppression, we're going to serve the oppressor. And how are we going to serve the oppressor? By preventing them from their oppression. If you see someone bullying, you be in service to that bully by preventing them from their oppression. So I'm so happy to be here with you, and I will share that quote for sure. But the movement in Standing Rock started with people like you, with youth, that said, we cannot put profit over people. We cannot put profit over the health of our earth. Water is life. And it was women that lead that too afterwards. So I want to share a story of some people that are really aligned with the head, the heart, of the hands about all this movement is the Meta family. They have been hosting very near from here a gathering that people can go there, and the first hour you're in silence, so you can meditate, contemplate, silent pray, whatever you want to do. The second hour people share some aha moments from a passage that could be anything inspiring. And the third hour, you have this delicious meal that is being served with so much love in silence. And this mom comes and gives you seconds and thirds, and you're just overwhelmed with this love, and anyone can go. And that sounds fun, to do it, but can you do it for almost 20 years every single Wednesday? And so to be that radically generous when they're telling us that you need to get profit, to disobey the market in that way, that's revolutionary. Of to be grateful, what we're talking about also, going back, this is part of those teachings of Indigenous people that are so grateful for what they have. So when you are grateful, people say you need to have more and more, but you so are grateful for what you have. That's revolutionary. And how these water protectors are defending the light. Am I just jumping from this generosity here in the city at a small scale, or our own minds when you're there inside, what did these 10 little seconds of silence, or that hour in the Meta family when they do this? We are rewiring our brains. Because if someone says, if you can have 10,000 hours or something that you can do, you become an expert on that activity. And then you don't have to do, the Michael Jordans. But what about if we become expert and automatic on kindness and generosity and courage? So our conscious mind can capture 20 transactions per second, while our subconscious mind can do like 6 orders of magnitude more, 20 million. So there's no possible that. So how are we going to be dealing with that? Well, we need to quiet our minds. If we were only able to listen the silent discourses of the stars, we would live in divine experiences with our own lives. And Indigenous people knew that. When I was with the Lakota, right, these women, they're very clear. The way that they call the stars in Lakota, they call it is Wichahpi, which means Wicha, which is a human being, and then the other part is falling. It's a falling human being. So every time that they're referring to a star, they're referring to a fallen human being or a relative star. They call it the star people, or the tree people, or the bison people. And so there's this connection and reverence to light, and that's when it connects to science. The carbon in your skin, the oxygen that you're breathing, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood come from those explosions of those stars. And these people knew that was a connection with that we have this inherent light to say we are going to do something different when we're reaching 400 parts per carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The first time that humans have ever experienced that, we are warming up the planet. And it's the first time in 3 million years that the Earth is like that. We're saying we're going to do something different. Water is life. We have different ways to operate this. And how are we going to do it? With powerful love. And Martin Luther King Jr. puts it beautifully. He said, power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love complying with the demands of justice. And justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. And so that's why we're here. To take this stand of widening our circles of compassion. And here's the quote. I promised you the quote. So here we go. A human being is part of the whole called by us the universe. Apart, restricted in space and time. He or she experiences himself and his feelings and thoughts as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for people nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from that prison, by widening our circles of compassion, to embrace all living beings and the whole of nature in her beauty. And we could do it personally, with our thoughts, with the words that we say, with the food that we eat, and how we treat our neighbors. And tap into that star nature that will come from stardust, right? So next thing, when you are taking decisions, and we're institutions, because now the times are heating up, and you know that Brother Donald is coming to the administration. So we need to be we need to be really exercising that muscle of disobeying with great love more and more, and saying that we're doing this for the sake of them. The last story, if you will, is this Sister Cheryl Angel, that is a Lakota woman that she was blessing every single person in the camp. And picture this woman. For 200 years her people have been oppressed. And the only thing that she has, she says, I'm empty. I only want to give love and bless people. And when the highest point in the Standing Rock, when they were sending attacking dogs and pepper sprayed and water cannons and freezing temperatures and sound cannons and you name it, she went and organized a group of women to disobey with great love in a silent march and walk 600 of them, followed by men supporting them, and went there to the front line and start blessing and singing songs of gratitude and generosity to the militarized police. And she was so embodying that head, heart, and hands, and those tears were touching the police officers, that when she was blessing them in the front lines, the police officers were nodding and they were putting their guns on the ground. And you can see that some of them were tearing. So that's the kind, you don't see it in the news, but it's what keeps this world going. So if you want to be a rebel, be kind. Humankind, be both. Thank you for your attention.